It's Monday, May 12, 2025. 14 NBA teams have gathered in New York for one reason, to find out the draft order. And boom, the ping-pong balls drop, and the Pelicans land the number 1 pick again. Second time in 6 years. Back then it was Zion Williamson. No, it's Cooper Flagg. Inside the Pelicans office, the ticket sales team erupts. This means sellouts for years, hope, maybe even championships. A dream scenario, right? Especially for Zion, a shot to reset his career, finally. Except, it's the exact opposite. Because if the Pelicans do get Cooper Flagg, it could actually spell the end of Zion in New Orleans. Let's rewind for a second. The Pelicans went all in this season. They made a bold move, trading Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance Jr., and 2 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray. People said it was the best Pelicans team ever assembled. 3 All-Stars, Zion, Brandon Ingram, and DeJounte. 3 elite role players, C.J. McCollum, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones. Solid depth, rookie E.J. Liddell, a rising name. But the hype train derailed fast. Injuries wrecked everything. When DeJounte tore his Achilles, the team sat at 12-37. And believe it or not, Zion, B.I., and DeJounte played 0 minutes together all year. 0. Total disaster. Now here's the twist. Zion's issue this time wasn't even his weight. Yeah, in the past, Zion looked more like a linebacker than a hooper. It got so bad, the Pelicans literally put a weight clause in his contract, a built-in penalty if he gained too much. We're talking $100 million on the line. Imagine someone telling you, hey, just stay in shape and you'll earn $100 million. Sounds easy, but clearly it wasn't. The crazy part? This year, Zion came in looking leaner. Kendrick Perkins even said he's reset his camp, hired a nutritionist, surrounded himself with better people. He looked to be in the best shape of his career, and he still only played 30 games. That's 4 times in 6 seasons where Zion's played 30 games or less. It's insane. The guy is one of the most explosive talents when healthy. But the when is starting to feel more like an if. So, where does Cooper Flagg fit into all this? Well, that's the thing. He doesn't. In fact, landing Cooper Flagg might be the worst-case scenario for New Orleans, and the beginning of the end for Zion. Because of all those injuries and that terrible record, the Pelicans ended up with the 4th worst record in the league. That gives them a 12.5% chance at landing the number 1 pick, just a hair below the teams with the highest odds. If they win it, it's Cooper Flagg time. But here's the problem. New Orleans is probably the worst possible team for Cooper to start his career. Why? Because Cooper's biggest weakness heading into college was his shooting. At first, he proved the doubters right, just 42% from the field, 24% from deep. But then, right after his 18th birthday, he flipped a switch. 51% from the field, 43% from 3. He became elite. And he needs to keep that momentum going, immediately, if he's going to survive in a system like New Orleans. Now let's talk about Zion's role in that system. Zion flat-out refuses to take threes or mid-range shots. 6 years into his NBA career, and his shot chart still looks like something out of a 2K rookie build. Out of 508 field goal attempts, only 20 came outside the restricted area. That's insane. What's even crazier is how unstoppable he is doing just that. Everyone knows what he's going to do, and they still can't stop him. But here's the issue, nobody else gets to operate in that paint. And if Cooper comes in, he's going to be forced to become a spot-up shooter on day 1, or he'll be buried in Zion's shadow. That's an unrealistic ask for a teenager just coming out of college. Not to mention, Zion brings more than just paint dominance. He brings the injury drama, the media noise, and the constant questions about commitment. Which is why, if the Pelicans do draft Cooper Flagg, the very next move would be trading, or even cutting, Zion. And yes, they actually could do it. Because when the Pelicans gave Zion his massive contract, they made sure to protect themselves. The deal is packed with escape clauses, tied to games played, weight, and body fat percentage. If he doesn't meet the conditions, the last 3 years of his deal aren't guaranteed. And guess what? He played only 30 games this year. That means the Pels could cut him tomorrow, no financial consequences at all. Now, let's be real, cutting Zion outright isn't likely. That's a last resort. What's way more realistic? A trade. And trust me, a lot of teams would be interested. So, if the Pelicans draft Cooper Flagg, what happens to Zion? Trade talks start immediately. And the crazy part? There will be interest. Even with the injuries. Even with the weight concerns. Even with all the chaos, someone out there will take a chance on a 24-year-old Zion Williamson because the upside is just too high to ignore. He's still a walking 27 points per game when healthy. He's a highlight machine. He puts fans in seats and jerseys on backs. Teams like the Brooklyn Nets, San Antonio Spurs, Portland Trail Blazers, or even the Clippers, all could take a swing, especially if they can buy low. And if the Pelicans are ready to move on, they might just give him away for the right fit. Take the Clippers, for example. If they lose Paul George in free agency, and Kawhi Leonard stays injured like usual, they'd need a jolt of something new. Zion could be that spark. In this kind of deal, the Pelicans wouldn't be looking for stars in return. They'd be looking for veterans, picks, and flexibility. And here's the scary part for New Orleans. What if Zion actually thrives somewhere else? We've seen this before. A young star leaves a team that gave up on him and then blows up into the player everyone expected. Think Carmelo in Denver. KD in OKC. Zion in the right system, with better health management and less pressure, could go nuclear. And if Cooper Flag takes a few years to develop, the Pelicans could be sitting there like, did we just trade a superstar for nothing? That's the gamble. But it might be one they're already preparing to make. Because according to reports, the Pelicans have already been shopping Zion quietly. And if they land the number 1 pick, the Cooper Flag pick, it becomes the perfect cover to pull the trigger. It won't be popular. It won't be safe. But it might be necessary.